get to 1.3, which is in the syllabus is called formal statements, but is commonly known as the International Bill of Rights, and you should use that expression in assessments and exams. So, a common HSC question outline the relevance of one international instrument in protecting human rights. So, the obvious one a lot of students would use would be the UDHR. Okay, UDHR, as it says there. So the easy way to remember the date on that is it was 3 years after the UN. End of World War II, 1945, creation of the UN to replace the League of Nations, which didn't work that well. But obviously, if you look at the history of the UN since then, it has worked pretty well. And it's sort of like the world wasn't really ready, or at least only part of the world was ready for the League of Nations. So, difference between a declaration here, so it's the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It wasn't actually signed by all countries and with an intention to be bound by it. Whereas, and what happened was, so there's about 30 articles in this UDHR. A very common phrase here is, following the atrocities of World War II and the Holocaust, we have the first Universal Statement of Human Rights. Okay? So that was the big promoter, was the war, World War II and the Holocaust. For band 5 or 6, you want to remember Article 4 prohibits slavery. Why? Because you can use that article. If you get a question on slavery and or you get a question on one human rights and you use slavery, you can remember Article 4. Okay. By the 1950s, it was generally agreed that while human rights was great, that it would be even better to have a more detailed statement. And the UDHR was a declaration not signed and ratified treaty. However, but what happened here, guys? The US and the USSR couldn't agree on what to put in the new statement. So we actually ended up with two statements, the ICCPR and the ICESCR. Have a read through what's on the fact sheet there, and it'll give you a good sense of this. And then I want you to write this out. So there's a bit of writing here, but you can do it at least once, okay? And then answer the questions. Okay.